Good evening, and welcome to our smear campaign against Joe Rogan. The mainstream media and the authoritarians that control it are absolutely losing their minds over Joe Rogan's statement that you just heard. Getting this sickness and easily overcoming it with treatments that we don't profit off of is not only irresponsible and disobedient, but is probably also causing climate change. Now, some right-wing conspiracy theorists might be saying, but isn't it a good thing if someone overcomes the sickness quickly and returns to health? Absolutely not. That's not what we're about. So scientifically speaking, we can unequivocally say Joe Rogan is a bad guy. Let's hear from a couple who have been most affected by it.
Joe Rogan hurt my feelings by recovering so fast because I wanted him to get sicker. I just want to protect all people because I love them so much. And I hope Joe Rogan dies. It's my body, my choice. Yeah, Joe Rogan has no business doing what he wants with his body, because it's my choice. Joe Rogan is a misinformation supremacist.
The audacity! I can't believe this guy. He wants you to be healthy as a horse? That's bad, according to CNN. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. This is Luke Radowski of WeAreChange.org. We got to talk about a lot of very important issue, and of course, we are going to be talking about all the latest news surrounding Joe Rogan, his lawsuit, and the larger implications here. I also respectively wanted to cover what's happening in Ecuador right now as well, but before we do that, plus a lot more, the clip that we played in the beginning of this broadcast is by Awaken with JP. If you want to watch the full video, it is linked down in the description below. And his videos are extremely funny, but they're not a joke. They're pretty serious and on point, and I think he does a really great job at satirizing a lot of very serious issues that we should be paying attention to, especially when it comes to the latest media firestorm surrounding political commentator Joe Rogan, who just did his first podcast after getting sick, where he, correctly so in my opinion, went on the offensive against all the major disingenuous fake news lies about him and his personal health. If there ever was a person to clear up that information, it was him. He took this opportunity on his podcast, which a small clip from on YouTube has already garnered nearly 3 million views and is labeled with the latest information from the CDC. In this video, Joe Rogan railed against a lot of his critics in the media establishment for attacking him for allegedly taking anti-parasite horse paste, which of course, he never did. Joe Rogan defended his use of a medicine that has been administered since the 1970s, was described as a wonder drug, was put on the list of essential drugs by the World Health Organization, the creators of which won a Nobel Peace Prize from. But according to the mainstream media, this is just horse dewormer. And of course, Joe Rogan dispelled this dishonest, disingenuous myth that's being promoted by the mainstream media right now, as Joe talked about using this anti-parasitic drug and his effects from it, which personally for him allowed him to recover in a very quick time frame comparatively to what a lot of people usually have to deal with when they came down with the sickness. This, of course, was a drug that his doctors told him to take. And again, you have to really consider here, Joe Rogan had access to some of the most important medical professionals in the world, and they told him to take this. Rogan also on this podcast talked about how there could even be a potential conspiracy here amongst big pharma in order to make sure that anyone who takes this drug, quote, looks crazy, as he also joked about potentially suing CNN for slandering him and lying about this entire situation, which of course they did. And even though Joe kind of joked about this idea, a lawsuit is not out of the realm of possibility here because of the clear malicious actions by CNN. Now, after watching this podcast, a lot of people described that Joe Rogan literally blew the lid off of the official story, and personally, I could say I'm happy that there at least is a legitimate conversation about this very issue, which I have been talking about for over a year. I'm still scared to even name this drug by name, since of course I know many doctors, many medical professionals, many other independent journalists that were literally censored for simply just even mentioning the name of this drug. So to see this finally discussed out in the open, I think is a step forward towards an honest, real conversation that might potentially help some people out, since of course these are medical professionals and doctors, not just one quack doctor, but multiple doctors, associations of doctors, groups of doctors coming together, looking at the data, which even if you go to the National Institute of Health website, you could see medical studies looking into it, specifically with this sickness. So far, there's 44 peer-reviewed studies looking into this drug, 39 of which show very promising results against this sickness that have been done worldwide, have been done by other countries, but posts about these are being censored online, which again, I have to clearly state here, these are just some preliminary studies. I am not a medical doctor. Do not take medical advice from me. I always keep saying you might be allergic to something, something might not be right for you, and the best thing that I could recommend for people is to look at some of these studies, print them out, share them with your medical professionals, and then start the conversation there. And I think it's important to do so, especially with how bastardized the conversation has been, as the Associated Press, Rolling Stone, NPR, MSNBC, all literally carried bogus stories based off no evidence at all that people were using horse dewormer in a rural Oklahoma hospital that prevented people with gunshot wounds from even being treated. That story was false. The Rolling Stone issued a correction about this. The AP just issued a correction around a similar story where they falsely claimed that 70% of calls to the Mississippi Poison Control were about this very specific instance, this very specific substance. None of that was true. Disgraced celebritard Jimmy Kimmel literally came back to national television regurgitating this fake story just a few hours ago, telling people how there was people who couldn't get treatment for gunshot wounds because of horse pace. And again, this was all not true. Spreading dangerous misinformation, fake news with no consequences at all is something, of course, that is only going to hurt people and not help them. And for big tech social media to not go after these news organizations for knowingly passing along false information, for knowingly lying to the American people, is repugnant, as of course we face full ramifications for even talking about this story. There was even a correction issued about Matt Taibbi, who identified this drug as not just a horse dewormer, and because of that, he was slandered and attacked by other mainstream establishment news organizations that ran with the story. And again, there's a lot of lying here. Dr. Fauci also got caught in a major lie that was exposed by The Intercept and their documents that they just released. And this disgusting behavior is continuing, with CNN and Dr. Fauci launching their attacks against people in football stadiums, while of course ignoring national protests that they agree with, and of course big weddings with hundreds of people for their friends like Barack Obama. CNN is still, as of now, from what I've seen, not corrected their lies about Joe Rogan, but they're too busy being angry about football fans cheering and breathing too hard. That right there is some top-notch fake news, which of course we try to do the opposite of here at wearechange.org. And sadly, we have a lot more to say, but we can't say it here on this platform. And that's why we're going to be doing another full-fledged video later on today, exclusively on lukeuncensored.com. If you haven't signed up yet, what are you waiting for? Right now, we are building up and expanding and creating an entire archive with categories, as of course we have videos for over 10 years on this exclusive platform, which is available to you all on lukeuncensored.com. Very important video where I get into bigger truths that will be coming out later on today on lukeuncensored.com. The link is down below. Now, before we go, I also wanted to talk about the situation in Ecuador, which I think is perfectly represented by this meme. Sorry, I enjoyed that musical intermission, as of course El Salvador has just adopted Bitcoin as its national currency. As the government there has bought a bunch of Bitcoins, they gave them out to every adult in that country as they literally made crypto legal tender. A part of this program, every adult got $30 in Bitcoin sent to them. This, of course, is a huge boost to wide adaptation, as 6.5 million people will be using Bitcoin in that specific country. This, of course, has a lot of implications. A lot of Wall Street big banks are trying to make money off of this. There's been a lot of people trying to leverage and sell. Some people are saying we're at a bear market. Some people are saying we're at a bull market. Who knows? But the fact that we have this wide adaptation is really fascinating, something worth talking about, something worth looking into, as it's not just Starbucks and McDonald's where you could satisfy your corporate overlords with your Bitcoin, but also local, small mom and pop vendors that are utilizing this brand new technology that Barack Obama described as enabling individuals to have Swiss bank accounts in their own pockets. There's also news of possible adaptation by Ukraine, and this is really exciting news, and I think pretty awesome. That's just my own personal point of view. If you think I said anything wrong or was incorrect about anything, let me know down in the comment section below, and dislike the video if you didn't like it. If you liked it, share it with your friends and family members. You can play random message roulette, double click the URL, click copy, go into any kind of messenger, click the little button, close your eyes, pick someone out randomly, send them this video without even saying anything. And because you guys do that, I'm still here. I love you guys. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. We got another video coming out later today. LukeUncensored.com. I love you. Stay tuned for more.